Hi guys, the video tonight, I'm going to take us off a different path because lately, right, I had you on the path of where Geraldine been, right, because I wasn't making videos in a couple of weeks. So I had all these issues that came upon me. I was having issues with the internet. I had to have surgery. Oh, my son appeared at my door. He needed a place to live. Oh, I'm having housing issues. I gotta sell my mother's house. I've been having open houses for the property. And then someone stole my cats. So you know what? With this week video, I'm not gonna take us down that same road. Where have I been? I'm a little bummed out of all the unnecessary crap I had to endure in the last couple of months. And I just don't want to talk about it because I'm really hurt behind a lot of the things that took place, and I just don't want to really have another video talking about my cats right now because I do love those animals and I just don't like anyone taking advantage of me, hanging up the phone on me, cutting off my services, and I'm paying for the company to give me the services, lying and say I don't have an account. Oh, it's just too much. It's just too much for me to really want to do another video. It takes too much energy to dwell on. But it's something that needs to be heard so that way if other people experience things like that issue, you see how I'm handling it. And maybe we can put a stop to foolish things, So I want to change the video from the path of where I've been to something more current, take me off my issues and look at somebody else's issues. It's not funny when I said that, I always smile. Sometimes when I'm hurting, I would smile. I don't know why. I just smile. And I'm really not in a good, space. But anyway, let's just talk about what the video is tonight. The video tonight, I want to talk about what's going on in the news. I've been working a lot, and every time I turn the TV on in between my little breaks, I hear the news about, guess who? Donald Trump. Oh my God, he's in the news, and he's not in the news in a nice way. Before I talk about Donald Trump, I like to say that in New York, right? They have rules for everything. And they have rules for businesses that protocol people who go into business. There's consequences. So one of the rules, right, for business is, all right, wait, because one time I was on the camera and I didn't clean my glasses and it showed. So give me a moment. Okay, so let's check it out. So each felony count of falsification of business records, right? Each felony count of falsification of business records carry up to a 4-year prison sentence for those convicted. So our ex-45th president, Donald Trump, apparently has 34 felony counts of falsification. That's a lot. 34 felony counts of falsification of business records over alleged hush money. Wow. So he's in court right now for hush money. I hate to say it, but for a a call girl, you know, oh, bottom line, he's in trouble over, could you believe it? You know, it's not even about the money with him. It's not even about the money. Because this man is a billionaire. So therefore, $130,000 is not the issue here. That's not the issue, but that's not the issue here. The issue here is business. And I'm quite sure, they get money, all kind of businesses. It could be a nonprofit, for profit, your own business. We all, especially in New York, you got to be careful because there's rules and regulations for the rich, for the poor, for everybody. And that's where Donald Trump is at right now. He got himself in a stink hole because of his business records. I told you before, right, that I like to go in business for myself. This company that I jump started, name called the BWS, blackweighsupport.org, right? Know that a felony count to just to hear or know that a felony count of falsification of business records carry up to a 4-year prison sentence. Wow, stuff. I'm gonna take a lesson from Donald Trump, to really pay attention to my business records, because that's serious, this is a serious crime. And only thing I gotta say about that is for everybody. You in business and you think because you got all this money, it's not gonna catch up to you. It will. I mean, it's like homelessness. It doesn't spare anyone. The IRS, the government, I don't know who checked these records to find out if the records is up to date and proper, but apparently they do. They got Donald Trump behind all up in the news. Everything. I mean, he can't go nowhere. It's not funny, but the man really can't go nowhere. And you know how New Yorkers get down. Everybody know how New York get down when it comes out to having big news and big names. Those reporters with their TV news cameras, they follow you. They follow you. They have a job they gotta do. And I know it sounds messed up, but it is their job. They actually follow you when it comes down to getting the news. In New York, we don't play. Everybody want to know the news. In New York, New Yorkers go hardcore for the news, depending on TV, to keep us educated of what's going on up here in the United States. So up here in New York, in Brooklyn area, New York, Queens, I mean, our reporters don't be playing. They put the news on the television to keep us up to date, those who want to know what's going on. And, but I bet you right now those reporters are sitting out in front of Donald Trump residency waiting to see him come out. I guarantee you, if they're not sitting, I think they sleep. I think they sitting out there waiting to see if he's gonna try to sneak out the building, try to go somewhere. I hate to say, what's his name? Joe Brown? No, is it Joe Brown? Is it Joe Brown? I'm not trying to be funny and I don't want to be disrespectful to nobody. Remember they was following him? I'm sorry, it's not Joe Brown. It's O.J. Simpson. Remember they was following him? In the helicopters and stuff, when it come down to getting the news, New Yorkers go hard. Our reporters, they go hard. Our TV news broadcasters and their cameras, they be all up in your face. And it's not funny, but it is their job, It's messed up, but it is kind of messed up to be followed and watched in that way, but they doing their jobs, But the only thing I gotta say about New Yorker is New York. New York have a tendency of beating up New Yorkers. Donald Trump is in court right now, and he's on the stand. He's in the hot seat, just like Cuomo. You know, when Cuomo has some type of harassment case going on, he's the governor. You know, and he had some type of case going on with him about sexual harassment. He actually stepped down from off his job. You know, and I felt sorry for the man because, you know, he has such a prestigious status quo up here in New York. I don't know about the rest of the part of the world, but up in New York, Andrew Cuomo, you know, he had a lot of respect. You know what I'm saying? And for him to have to go through a humiliation trial of sexual misconduct and for him to step down, I thought that was kind of messed up because he is an American, right? Same as Bill Cosby. You know, when Bill Cosby was on trial, I mean, everybody was all up in his face and talking about him, and he didn't even have sex with the women. He put a little Mickey in their drink. I'm thinking about that commercial or Sugar Pops or Pop, you know, that ice pop. Come here, let me put a little drop in your drink, right? Because you keep following me. You know, this girl, these women, and they wasn't even black. You check that out too? They wasn't even black, and they following Bill Cosby and then saying that he assaulted them, but they calling him, coming up to his shows, going to his home. You know, so, you know, these women, you gotta be careful because you have a lot of women too that's grimy. And they go for men who got money, you know. They go for people who got money. And to me, Bill Cosby, the American dad, we all looked up to him. I looked up to him. And to see him in the news in that kind of light, you know, you messed up his character. You know, he worked hard to get to what he got in his life just to be on TV, you know, looking like a common thief, a common criminal, you know, and taking all that man money. I'm quite sure Donald Trump got to pay too to sit up in that court. So did Cuomo. He probably had to pay too to sit up in that court. They sit there and make all this money and have this prestigious job just to throw it all away in the courthouse. You know, oh, speaking of that, look at Michael Jackson. Oh my God, what about R. Kelly? Please, girls. Some people don't even want to mention maybe R. Kelly's name, and some women's probably feel about what I'm about to say that I'm wrong, but I like to say to any female, rape is not good. You know what I'm saying? I don't condemn that. You know, I don't approve of it. You know, of raping anybody. Mental abuse is not cool. You know, but you know, really, when it come down to R. Kelly, you know, a lot of women got really upset with him, and I felt that every woman who was raped took their rape out on R. Kelly. You know, I felt like you should go get your own rapist because you got raped. Girls, please forgive me for what I'm about to say, you know, because everybody have a point of view, and I have a point of view. I personally feel that R. Kelly, what he did, it was wrong if he did it to young girls, but I don't feel what he did deserved life, because I don't feel it deserved life. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what? Here he is, a superstar. And most superstars, people got money, they act cocky anyway. And groupies do follow these men for their money to be about a baller or someone who has something. You know, these women actually do follow these men. And these women wasn't like gagged. They wasn't handcuffed. You know, handcuffed, the door was open. The door wasn't locked. There wasn't no person standing there with a gun like, you ain't moving. You know what I'm trying to say? And when he had these sexual acts with these women, it wasn't nobody else in the room really with no gun up to your head making you do this. You know, you left, you came, you ate, you went out, you walked to the bus, or, you know, what he did maybe with young girls because they was young and minors was wrong because he's older, but them young girls those young girls, you know what you was doing is wrong too. Like you may be underneath the age of 18, but what are you doing going in his environment? Like what are you doing? Jumping in the bed, or when he tried to propose that situation to you, you went along with it. I don't understand that, because I think you went along with it, because I'm saying that because I didn't see no force of R. Kelly making you do those things. And I'm not talking up for the man. It's just that as an American, I'm a little like sensitive, because I'm an American and I got railroaded, and I can see people. Look, rape is when someone forced themselves on you and it hurts, right? And but they don't come back. I mean, like, you don't, unless you're a child and you can't leave, and your rapist can come back and forth like that. But if you had the option to walk out that door, you could have walked. I don't think he deserved life for the dumb things he did in the name of. I don't think he deserved life. And, America has a way of dogging Americans. Let's look at Michael Jackson. Oh my God. Wasn't it so embarrassing? I mean, on his part, this big mega star, to be stripped down, to showing his private part, his penis, to everyone, the cops, to see if it had spots of light and darkness. Because of his skin disease. Oh, isn't that so degrading and embarrassing and humiliating? I think it is. I think that was really messed up, that, he had to go through that from a man who having doors hold for him, chairs pulled out from him, having money, he could buy anything. Like, he done created a good life for himself. He made great money. He's at the top of the game of what he do. Some people just stars and they stars, but it's like the United States dogged the crap out of American people, and that's where this is coming from. Like, I have like a little soft spot for Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, Donald Trump, Bill Cosby, because of what I went through. I'm an American, and I have a good name for myself. I worked very hard not to have a bad name. I didn't work hard. I just didn't believe in discrediting me as a person, my character. But when I separated from my children's father, I got dogged. I got dogged through the mud in court, and I was in court not just like 3 months. It was an ongoing process, as if I was a criminal, as if we was a criminal. We was in court like too much, man. It was like so much. It was so much. And then I'm in court to prove the kid's father, his income, but then it turned into a case of who's gonna be the better parent. It just evolved and evolved and evolved until I lost custody of my children. And I still don't understand that. I really don't. And then when I lost the custody of my kids, I became homeless over consecutively, not like here and there, consecutively over 15, I did like 18 years in this woman's shelter. First it was a domestic violence shelter, then it was a family shelter, then they took my kids, and then I'm in a woman's shelter since 2011. I'm sorry, I'm in a woman's shelter from when the time the World Trade dropped to 2011, like 11 years, and not counting the years before that. But I got dogged. They said I did drugs. I didn't get a second chance of proving I didn't do drugs. I was just as shocked when they said I did it. I'm like, wow, how did drugs get there? Like the same thing I'm saying with the Ring camera. What you mean I don't have an account? I'm smiling, but I'm mad. What you mean I don't have an account? What you mean that my internet keep cutting on and off? Yo, America gotta chill. Because America go real hard on Americans, but they don't go hard on Jews. They don't embarrass Jews the way how American people get embarrassed. You see how they were sitting on George Floyd? He's a black American. America do not embarrass immigrants. You know what I'm trying to say to you? I don't see like the Russian people being brought in for tax invasion or the people that jumped the wall. I don't see the United States coming down on them saying something like, listen here, your whole family came over here jumping the wall. Aren't you a part of the Amigo family here? Isn't this your brother? Isn't this your cousin? Isn't that your mother? That's your father. You all jumped the wall. America don't go hard on immigrants. It's like America only know anything. It's like America only know about Americans, and they only go hard on Americans. They only go hard on Americans. They make us pay the piper, and then all the immigrants have the job. So now, I heard this saying, right, from immigrants, right? Immigrants, we help build the frame of the United States of America. But you know what? So did my ancestor. They was black, and they was abducted on a a slave boat, right? They was immigrants, right? They was immigrants, and they was abducted into America, and they cooked, and they worked, held the doors, took care of their kids, took care of that for free. But now the people coming to America who's immigrant, you get a paycheck. So that's why I feel that black Americans deserve reparation. It's always something to look at. I don't feel reparation belong to any and everybody who's black. This is my opinion. Everybody have an opinion, just like, I'd say I'm going in business for myself, right? So even though, I did my fundraising, I just came off a fundraising campaign for a subtitle, People Said A. That is the name of the campaign. It was a private campaign. I reached out on the behalf of BWS to private individuals, companies, teams who have money, to see if they like to donate into the mission of BWS. So I spent a lot of money. I put a lot of time into it. I feel deeply about this passion line of philanthropy work to help uplift Black America, Afro-American Blacks. And so now I'm like in development stage 3, whereas I did the fundraising. I done surpassed like the business being registered with the city. The business is 501c3. I did a fundraising campaign. Now I'm at the development stage of number 3, which is I'm looking for office space, right? For the business. And the office space that I like is in a WeWork building. So I go down to the WeWork building, downtown Brooklyn here, and I asked to see the space. And when you looking for space at a WeWork building, they ask you questions like, as a entrepreneur, what you looking for in office space, and they tell you about what they offer you as a business that lease out space or rent space or can hold a space for a person who have a business. And so the conversation went like that. And when they asked me a little bit more about BWS, I happened to say, well, it's a nonprofit for people of color, like Black people. And the gentleman, and I said, like, for instance, I like to see Black people have their fair share of equality for prosperity. And BWS would look at things like, where Black people is not hired, because Black people is not employed as much as the world, like right there at that space, that location where I was at, every worker that was in the WeWork building that I went to was not Black. So I noticed that, and I just happened to say, like, for instance, BWS would ask the WeWork office, like, this front desk here, everybody interviewing me, talking about what I'm looking for and what BWS is about, I would have been like, well, BWS would say something like, well, you know what, this is a nice corporation here, but I noticed you don't have any black people working. And, I didn't see any blacks since I've been here. So one of the guys, he said, well, I'm black. And when I looked at him, I didn't expect for him to say he was black. I'm just going along with the protocol of, trying to fill out for the space and just go along with their format of the questions they was asking. But he said, well, he's black. And I said, in a questionable way, like asking the question, like, in what way? Not in what way to say, boy, you ain't black. You black. No, you not. I didn't say in what way to indicate that. It was more like a question, really, like in what way, like a question. But he got offended, and to me, I feel he wasn't black now. Now, well, I'm gonna take it there because something happened after that. He got offended. He got offended and said, "Well, I'm offended," but you know what? I didn't understand why he said he's offended because he didn't look black at all, and so I never heard from the person to give me a breakdown of how much it costs for a space or even a call to come down there for a tour, because I couldn't get a tour because I had to they said I had to be on the calendar or by appointment, or they didn't have anyone to show me a tour at that time. So I never heard from anyone to invite me down to the WeWork building to give me a tour, So I came back downtown Brooklyn. Next time I was downtown Brooklyn, and I felt I gave them a nice length of time to get in contact with me. And they didn't. So I went back downtown. When I was downtown, I said, let me stop over here by the WeWork building. And I did get a tour and everything. And that day I got a tour. But the tour wasn't complete because I don't know how much they charge for the space I was looking at. So I was told that someone was going to get in contact with me who do the leasing for the building, right? Because you can only lease out the building only for like 1 year. And every year you have to renew your lease. So I was like, if I was to get office space in that WeWork building, I will go for a 1-year lease. Over the weekend, I checked my email. I said, let me check my email, see if I got anything. Because from time to time, I do check BWS email to see if a prospect wanted to give me a check or something like that, any kind of donation, if I got any phone calls. So when I saw my email, it was very discouraging. It was, but this is what the email read. Okay, so now you see what the email read, right? Well, then it gets more discouraging because I felt like, like, wow. First of all, I wasn't escorted out the building when I came down there. I wasn't asked to vacate the building. No one called the cops on me and had me escorted out the building. No one got up from their desk and walked around and opened the door and like say, get out. You know what I'm saying? security wasn't called on me. So when I read that, I was really shocked that I was shocked at the message that I was vacating, asked to leave, and that I insulted someone, you know? So I thought about it, and I was like, well, oh, I think the gentleman who said he was black, I think they talking about him. I thought about it and I said, oh, it was that guy who said he was black. Well, now I'm offended. I'm offended because I don't think it was really that serious for me to get an email to say that that I cannot get no no office space in that location, that I have to look elsewhere. I think that's a little too harsh. You know, I think that's very harsh. Because, you know, shouldn't you hear both sides of the story? I shouldn't have never said nothing, honestly. If I knew it was going to get to the point where I can't get office space in that location, I should have never said nothing. And I'm going to flip it around. He offended me. Because when he said he's black, well, you offended me because you don't look black. So I'm offended. What you mean you black? Everybody on social media said, I'm Afro-black and I'm black and they look Chinese or whatever, you know, and you don't look black. Well, I'm offended because you do not look black to me. So you offended me because how is you black? But that's not really what I came down there for, but you making me go there when you went back to the woman and you fabricated the story like I insulted you and to the point where I can't get office space in that building. I'm just saying, you know, we all gotta live. And that's what I'm saying about Donald Trump with the United States. United States is too hard on Americans. They don't really go hard on immigrants. You know, when Donald Trump was coming back, when he was coming home, he had some of his supporters out there. And some of his supporters was like, Trump, build the wall. They was like, Trump, build the wall, build the wall, build the wall. You know, hey, maybe Donald Trump got in trouble because he wanted to build the wall by the immigrants. Did you ever think about that? Maybe them immigrants said, you know what? Maybe them immigrants said, you know what? He talking about build that wall and stop us from jumping that wall. Let's just hang out. Because they got all the jobs. They say they black when they don't look black. They got all the jobs. You know what? He said, come on, I can flip it. You flipped it, I can flip it too. I'm flipping it because he flipped it on me when I went to WeWork. So now I'm flipping it now my way. Donald Trump said, let's build a wall, right? So now Donald Trump said, let's build a wall. So now here's immigrants. Oh no, if he build a wall, that means we can't bring all our people over if he's going to build a wall. But we're going to get him out of office. Who was the person that dug up his falsification of records? You know? And then when you look at it, wait, hold up. And then when you look at it, right? Who was the person who dug up the records and brought that up? Donald Trump been in business for years. You know, he have always been a tycoon in my eyes, growing up an American, watching TV. He have always been the man that had money, business, a power player. Remember that show he had? You're Fired. Boy, I wish I could have been on that show. I would have sure showed Donald a thing or two. You know, like, listen, I can work on your team. But, you know, I was homeless, so I couldn't do it. Let me stop. Let me stop. But for real, let's keep it real, though. You know, so, you know, you got to look at that. The same thing with Cuomo. Let's talk about Cuomo. Wasn't Cuomo going after the nursing home? Because, see, I'm going to go there. My mother died in the nursing home. And they kicked me out. Not only did they kick me out, listen, girl, you know what? That's another thing, too, that's bothering me. You know, Cuomo was talking about the nursing homes, right? And now all of a sudden, Cuomo was on a sex charge, a harassment charge, right? And look what happened to Cuomo. He's not working no more. But he was talking about the nursing home. You know how I know that? Because I was dealing with a nursing home with my mother. And I felt how I was treated and my mother was treated, and the nursing home was wrong. You know what I'm saying? You know, and when my mother was dying, I was actually kicked out of the hospital. And you know, it goes back to your culture of a black thing, right? You know, black people act a certain way. We act a certain way. For you to kick me out of the hospital and she's dying, you know, that's a seriously disrespect. At least to black people it is. To black people, and that's their mother, oh man, you rub me the wrong way. They rub me the wrong way. Big time. I mean, damn, and then you took away my kids too? Said I did drugs and I don't do no drugs. Oh man. Y'all people rub me the wrong way. You know, so I don't think that I'm gonna be treated fairly by you. And I don't think what's going on with Donald Trump is being fair treated either. You know why I don't think it's fair what's being fair? I'm not saying because he's white, and I'm not saying because he's rich. He's a billionaire. $130,000. I'm quite sure he can just go in his pocket and just give that without really, like, you know, scratching his head about it, you know? But it's not like because he's white, I feel that he should not be penalized. I just feel that, you know, America is too hard on Americans. You know, as long as this man been a tycoon, making this money, been known to be an investor, been known to have penthouses and live good and be around the best and have the best, and been in business for so long, I would think America said, you know, let's give him a chance. I wouldn't treat him like he's the common criminal. You know, don't people deserve a chance? You know, like that Constitution has to be changed. The law, to me, to a certain degree, have to be changed. We cannot live by the rules we live today, how it used to be back in BC. You know, was it Easter? When I was growing up as Easter, the kids got dressed. I looked at the news. I see all the adults wearing Easter bunny hats and stuff like that. You know, like, we cannot still live the laws our forefathers have set for us here in America. You know, Donald Trump, if he did wrong, I think he deserved to be penalized. But should he get 4 years? I don't think that's right. Not on a one-time offense. Not on a one-time offense. You know? And then on top of that, look at all these other businesses out here. Like the nursing home. I don't see the United States coming down on them and their records and how many people dying or how many complaints they have. I don't see you as Americans coming down on nobody else but Americans. Look what you did. Look what you did to Bill Cosby. And come on. You made the man go, look what you did to me. You know, look what you did to Michael Jackson. Oh, you said America. You have no respect for America. America is supposed to be the home of Americans. America act like the United States act like they home of the immigrants. Come on, let's look at it. How many immigrants come to America and make it big? You know, how many immigrants come to America and have their own community? And look at Black America. We done got diversified and gentrified. See what I'm saying about America? Look how they treat their own people. You know what? $130,000 payment made to porn star Stormy Daniels, which Trump denies any criminal wrongdoing. He denies any criminal wrongdoing. And you know what? Because the supposedly, check this out, because the supposedly check was not made by Trump himself. The check was written out by his then attorneys. That's what I heard. That's what I read. But you know what? Trump is wrong in that area too. Because I learned a lot becoming the administrator of the property here of my of the Corbetts. I learned a lot, you know. Donald is a human being, and he made a mistake like a lot of our stars. I have heard and seen so many documentaries, so many shows, talk shows of how these stars has lost all their money in the hands of their accountant. Donald Trump should have checked his own books out and see what checks was being written out to a certain degree. Like me here, I'm the administrator of the property, right? And the property has a lawyer, and we have to go to probate, we have to go to court, and my sister is here, so we have to share whatever we have. Let me tell you something. When it come down to money, I learned. You know, I never had money. I was homeless all them years. So when you homeless, well, how much money you got? Zip, nothing, right? So, when I became administrator of my mom's house, my mom have a house. And with a house come a lot of responsibilities, warranties, things that make a house, you know, taxes and all this other stuff. So I had to learn a lot about being, I had to educate myself a lot on being a homeowner. And with a homeowner come money. So, you know, I had to learn a lot, you know. So when you have business in a home, it's not good to let your money go a month without checking out your bank statements. I learned that. And I'm going to talk about that too in a video for y'all, you know, because right now I got to do my taxes. And you don't forget, I have my own company. Yes, I've been homeless, but I'm trying to build my life up. You know, I've written a book. I'm an author, right? I have my own company, right? And I'm picking up my life. I have my YouTube channel now, you know, and I have other YouTube channels, but I didn't get there yet because, you know, I've been sidetracked with like roadblocks, like a roadblock what just happened over the weekend, you know. I can't rent no space in the building there, you know, and that's messed up, you know, because it's always like, I got to try so hard just to get to one step, you know. And that's really the story of Black Americans. And that's the story, if you look at, of American people here in America. Look at all our people. When I say all our people, I'm talking Americans. I don't care if you're white or black. Because it was only white and blacks in the beginning. It was slavery. So I'm not going that the Jews and the Spanish people was here and the Chinese was sitting on the sideline watching white people and the Ku Klux Klan ride by on a horse in the street and whip a black man up and hang him up on the tree. They wasn't here for that. It was white and blacks, right? So white people got the bulk of the United States during slavery time. They made everybody who was a slave work for free and didn't pay nobody crap. That's why they got so much money, right? Yes, that's what I think. Black people, well, they was traumatized. Black Americans was traumatized. You know, you just don't get over that. Look at every time the cops come, our boys always running. How many times did you see that on TV before they actually stopped? But so now they getting shot standing up or like sit down on George Floyd. But before they used to be running. Look at all the articles. Back in the day, they always ran, you know, because that slavery stuff probably was in them. Still, you know, oh, black person, oh, cop come, you know, trauma is trauma, you know. So, anyway, as I was saying, you know, it's just bad about Donald Trump. And they talk about build a wall, and they hear Donald Trump talking about he thinking about running again for presidency. Did you know that in the year 2024? He thinking about running back again for to become president. But he got to get out of court first. And it looked like, I don't know what's going to happen. We have to just watch it because his members, the members on his court team, on his legal team, is already planning a motion to dismiss. They're already planning a motion to dismiss. And did you hear what Donald Trump said? Did you hear what he said? Donald Trump said that New York City trials, check it out, that the New York City court trials should be in Staten Island. And that's not a bad idea. when you think about it, because New York is already crowded. You know, the city's already crowded. Courthouse, Donald coming down there, the order reporters coming, the traffic gonna get blocked, everything gonna get blocked and everything, all the cops gotta come. You know, he got a point there. And then he talking about running for presidency in year 2024. Hey, if he can get himself out this mess right here where he at, if he can get it dismissed, he may go back into building that wall since y'all niggas wanted to take him out. I'm sorry. He may, if he get out of this, but y'all probably need to shut up because y'all probably be like witches. Witch hunt come down. No, he ain't gonna get off this crap because he ain't gonna build that wall. But if he get out and run for presidency, yeah, build that wall. And move the courts, the trials to Staten Island. I mean, where it's not so really overcrowded, you know? So, hey, Donald Trump, getting messed up over some punte. Oh, man. And that girl, you know, let's talk about Stormy for a moment here, right? She had to get a check. He couldn't pay her on the down low. You know, he married. I don't know. He couldn't give her a check. I mean, he couldn't give her money. Let's say he did it. He couldn't give her money on the down low. Maybe the only reason he didn't give her money on the down low because this is her job. And in order for her to claim her taxes, she probably need to be on the books. So he had to give a check, you know? A hoe getting that much. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call that out on YouTube, but that she getting that much money? 130,000? Shoot. Wow, that's a lot of money. You know, and then on top of that, how many Johns do she get giving her 130,000? Maybe that's probably why she had to have it checked. You know, because maybe the government, you know, Uncle Sam, he greedy. He want his cut. He want his cut to say who can come in, who can't. Like the courts, I have the power who to bring somebody in and to indict you. Well, I think the courts is wrong. You know, I don't think you should be like a witch hunt for Americans, you know. What about all the immigrants that jumped the wall? I don't see you pitting them up on, making them look embarrassed, you know. You just, you know, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. But I enjoyed my conversation with you today. I didn't think I would enjoy it because it took so long for me just to even... It took all the energy I had just to come into the studio. You know, really, it really did. You know, we got problems. We got issues. And I feel my issues are always coming to me. You know, it's not like I'm making the issue. I feel the issues are coming to me. How you tell me I don't have an account? I didn't spit the cameras out. I didn't make it myself, you know. I didn't knock my cat eye out for it to be black. I didn't steal 2 kittens, you know. I didn't steal my cats, you know. Come off it, you know. Oh boy, this is bad. So Donald Trump, I don't know you. You know, I just know of you as an American and watch you on TV because I'm American. I always watch TV, watch the news, watch documentaries, whatever, until I became homeless and then all that stopped. But I wasn't always homeless all my life. And I just wish you the best. I wish R. Kelly the best. I don't want to see him get life. You know, I just don't want to see him get life. I believe everybody deserves a second chance, you know. What R. Kelly did, it wasn't, to me, that serious for him to get life. He can pay a fine to those young girls for maybe embarrassment of how they allow someone to make them act, you know. You know, he can pay them girls some kind of money, and they too will learn a lesson about this. You know what I'm saying? You know, if they owe any money for lewd acts, Like black people owe for reparation, R. Kelly should pay them. Yes, he should. But to lose R. Kelly and the music that he gave to so many, Step in the Name of Love, no, come on, to lose R. Kelly and everything that he did for the black community, for our parties, for life, for being cocky. You know how many stars are cocky? It's messed up. Donald, I wish you the best. And that's all, folks.